Hi friends, it's me, Emily. I hope you're all doing great. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. So today's topic actually came from a viewer. She wanted to know how best to connect to our highest and best self, to the divine, and get answers about your life so you can move forward in the best possible way. And I love this question because I think it's absolutely fascinating, and it perfectly tied it into what I wanted to do with this video, which was talk about the crown chakra, which is our gatekeeper to the divine. And I want to talk about how it works and different ways that this chakra can be open and closed. And I also wanted to discuss the different ways that we can communicate with the divine. So I think that this should be fascinating, and I hope you guys really like it. I think it's also cool because I am now a certified spiritual coach and a certified chakra healer and practitioner. So if you want to book a session with me, that's available on my website. So without further ado, let's dive into this video if you want to know more about the crown chakra. I hope you like it. Okay, let's dive in. So what is the crown chakra and how does it work? So the crown chakra is located about 6 inches above our head. It is represented by the color royal purple, which is the highest possible vibration that our human eyes can see. I love that. Now, historically, priests and monarchs would wear this color because it represented their connection to the divine, and it also represented their position at the very top of society. This is a feminine receptive chakra regulated by the pineal gland, which deals with melatonin, but it's also like a radio transmitter. So this is what you use to tune in and to channel the divine and to establish your connection with it. I know that a lot of chakra healers like to start with the root chakra because it's all about survival, that base, that first step. But it's my personal belief that we need to know what we're doing first. We need to connect with the divine, get that information, so that way our actions in this world are divinely inspired. Because in order for the crown chakra to be healthy, it's not just about our brute force in this world. It's about surrendering to a much bigger plan for yourself. So we need to understand a little bit about surrender, about realizing that this is all much, much bigger than we could ever realize. Okay. So now I'm going to go into what it looks like when the crown chakra is underactive and overactive and healthy, so that way you get a better sense of where you're at. Cool. So when the crown chakra is underactive, this is someone who's very skeptical, who perhaps had a very traditional religious background, who is a little bit rigid in their beliefs, or someone who is just focused on survival, on the day-to-day, someone who doesn't really know their plan, or maybe doesn't even trust their plan if they maybe they get feelings about it, but they don't trust it, say nah. Or someone who maybe has feelings of unworthiness when it comes to the divine. They feel like they don't deserve that relationship for whatever reason. They feel like they're not good enough to have that intimate connection with the divine. Just think about, oh my gosh, the Catholic Church, kind of made everyone feel like they were so separate from God, from they put priests in the way and said, the priests were the only ones who were allowed to connect. And that's just not the case. Everyone is allowed to connect with God and have their own individual relationships. And that's really important, to make people feel like they are deserving of that. They are worthy of that connection with God, no matter how, whatever you want to call it. They're worthy as is. So for whatever reason, this person has kind of closed that off, just kind of because they don't, for whatever reason, feel like it's right for them, or don't know how, or it's overwhelming. So they just shut it down. No more connection with that. No more divine guidance. And And there are ways to get that connection back if you're open to it. So we're going to go over that later, but now I want to go on to what an overactive crown chakra looks like. So an overactive crown chakra is just the similar lack of trust manifested in a completely different way. So this is someone who almost has like a spiritual addiction. This is someone who's saging a lot, pulling way too many tarot cards, just constantly looking for answers, but not trusting any of them, or not trusting them enough to actually put them into action, to bring them out into the real world. So you're just kind of lost in airy fairyland, which can happen. But there are different ways to kind of bring it into focus and say, yes, I trust this, I surrender to this plan, and I'm just gonna let it happen. I'm going to act, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna try and make it real. I'm going to bring it out into the world. I'm gonna speak it. I'm gonna act on it. But I'm also going to trust the universe on this one. And if it's right, then it'll be. But yeah, I can't just keep constantly seeking answers. I have to, at one point, trust that it's actually the right thing, which, there are ways to do that, ways to bring it into focus. And we're going to talk about that later. I just want to say, don't feel bad if you have tried to channel and you feel like you haven't gotten anything. That is totally normal, and I have experienced that as well. It feels like you're just like hitting a brick wall, like they're just not giving you a ton of information. And I feel like that is completely normal, because that is not the way that spirit likes to communicate. They like to find you when you're already working, when you're already focused on other things. I have found that I will get the most information when I'm like in the shower, or if I'm going for a run, or if I'm in a dance class, or when I'm already working on something. I will find that I'll get more information that way. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to write notes in the on the steamy glass in the shower, because it's the shower principle. It's when your mind is kind of relaxed but focused on other things, that's when you allow more of that inspiration to come through. If you're just sitting there and waiting, it's just not as natural. So that's something to consider. So because we are co-creators of our reality, the divine really wants us to think about what we truly want out of this existence, as far as life purpose and our true romantic desires. So the first step is actually up to us to get into this very broad place where you no longer have your insecurities or any fears. It's just, what do you want to do? Think about it, feel it, write it down, and then I will use my highest and best self through oracle cards, and that's how I validate. And then I'll often get validation through numbers and patterns and other signals like that. But the first step is always yours. The divine is there to co-create and to validate, to kind of just point you in the right direction, but you have to be the one to decide what it is that you want. It's a partnership. So if your crown chakra is underactive, there are several things that you can do to help that situation. First of all, it might be time to reevaluate some of your belief systems, especially if you grew up in a very rigid one, a very traditional religious household, and you felt like you were controlled in your relationship to spirit, because that can be because maybe you felt like you didn't have the freedom or the power or that connection yourself. You felt cut off from it in some way, like it was not yours, when it is truly your relationship, and it's your right to have that relationship. Or maybe you're just used to being in the day-to-day, in the material world, or maybe you tried to connect and it failed spectacularly and you just kind of wrote it off and went, this isn't for me. And I know that that is incredibly frustrating, but in order to open this chakra up again, you gotta try again. So try meditating at least for 10 minutes a day. I like to do it in the morning. Yeah, just sit there and still the mind by focusing on the breath and noticing whenever you have a thought and just labeling it as a thought. And that way you don't feel any pressure, like you have to connect to something if you don't want to. It's, you know, because by you being relaxed, that's when you'll naturally invite it in. So you feel just more and more comfortable with it, because you deserve to feel that special bond, just to feel that presence. And if you don't already have a plan for your life, create one, write it down, send it out into the universe, and then wait for the response. Invite them to collaborate with you. And you will be really surprised. You'll start to see all kinds of validation everywhere, you know, the kinds that we talked about. And you'll just feel so comforted just in that knowledge that it's real and that your path is divinely supported. And if your crown chakra is overactive, try and use your divination tools sparingly. Try and use the pendulum sparingly. Try and use the oracle and tarot cards sparingly, because I have found that the more I use them, the less accurate they are. Spirit kind of likes to be like a one and done kind of a thing. They like you to get the information and accept it. So the way that I accept the information is by writing it down. I actually write out, I accept X, I accept Y, and I bring and I visualize a connection between my crown chakra and my root. So that way I give my root chakra like some meat, something that it can go off of, something that, yes, some real information that I can bring into this world. Another great thing you can do is actually imagine that you are focusing and narrowing all of this information that you are getting at the crown chakra. Just make sure that it's incredibly focused instead of wide and scattered and disorganized. It's like boom, right there. And also what I like to do is at the end of the day, if I'm feeling kind of spiritually drained, I will definitely almost like, yeah, it's like an open and close sign. I just like have I like to have boundaries with spirit and say, okay, I'm done for the day. And then my spiritual channel is closed and I will immediately go and do some exercise. I will do something that helps me feel grounded. I'll do some yoga, I'll run, I will just get out into, just get out into the world and get out in nature, and it helps a lot. So hopefully this all helped you, and please let me know if it did, if it was helpful. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And so I'm going to be doing eventually all of the chakras just like this. So if you have any questions about certain chakras, please let me know, and I will do my best to work them into a video like this. So cool. Bye for now.